All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er video. Make sure you check out Pig and a Pickle, 2 locations, Emeryville and Corte Madera, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Get the brisket or the brisket chili or the potato chips cooked in beef fat. Oh, my God. All fantastic. Brisket chili is amazing. If you haven't had brisket chili, you need to try it. All right, let's talk little Niners. Interesting piece on 49er Web Zone today that I saw, and good piece. It was put out by David Bonilla. And I guess Brian Baldinger, who you can catch on the NFL Network, Baldy, you can catch him on 95.7 The Game. He's one of their football insiders, one of our favorites. Great guy, kind of like a former NFL player version of Greg Cosell. He looks at the all 22. He's independent. He's got his own opinions. That's what I love about Baldy. He doesn't have people tell him what he thinks. He watches it himself and rolls that film back and forth and tells us what he thinks. And he's really good. He's really, really good. And all you guys know that. Anyway, he thinks the Niners can have a top 5 offense this year. And he's pointing to a number of things. They got great playmakers, McCaffrey, Debo, Ayuk, Kittle. But he also loves Brock Purdy. And I thought I was the guy who loved Brock Purdy the most, but maybe Baldy does. Purdy was great last year. Let's be honest. He guided the Niners to 8 straight wins. He suffered the torn ulnar collateral ligament, the UCL ligament in his right elbow against the Eagles in that first series of the NFC Championship game. Couldn't finish that game. Niners lose. Season ends. Now Brock's had surgery, and he's making his way back. But he hasn't impressed everybody. He impressed a lot of people, including John Schneider, who's swearing up and down about how great Purdy is, and Eric DeCosta referencing how sharp the Niners were to be able to find a franchise quarterback like Purdy at the day 3, the last pick of day 3. I mean, these guys are great talent evaluators, and they're both, teams rarely, if ever, talk about other teams' draft choices in any way, shape, or form. It's like just something that's not done. Both of those guys came out this year and with a microphone in front of their face and cameras everywhere said, man, the Niners sure got it right with Brock Purdy. So those guys who are as sharp as it gets are big Purdy fans, which is good to know. One guy who's not is Ndamukong Suh, who was on the Eagles in the opposing defense in that NFC Championship game. And I don't know if it's just because of the way that game went, but Suh is not impressed, as most others are, with Brock Purdy. Instead, the Eagles defensive lineman kind of downplayed Purdy's success and while boasting about the Eagles' win over the Niners. And this is what he said on the NFL Network's NFL Total Access show. Suh said, "I'm not a believer by any means." He's talking about Purdy here. He says, "I don't think this offense runs through Brock Purdy." He added that Kyle Shanahan prefers to see his offense run through his other versatile playmakers, and he downplayed Purdy's contributions in last season's success. Enter Brian Baldinger. He disagrees. He says, Ndamukong Suh, I couldn't disagree more with what you just said, Baldinger said. In his 8 starts, he was the highest rated quarterback in this league. Purdy was higher rated than Patrick Mahomes, higher than Tua, higher than Burrow, highest rated quarterback in this league. He was more than handing the ball off to McCaffrey and flipping it to Debo in a reverse. This guy was a playmaker. And then he goes on to say, and while they are the most talented team in this league, when you look at just the high-priced players, whether it's Trent Williams, whether it's McCaffrey, whether it's Debo, whether it's Kittle, Bosa, Warner, I mean, they've got some of the highest-paid guys in the league at all positions. It's talent. But they still need somebody to get the ball to all these guys. So, very interesting. Just very interesting. We don't know when Brock Purdy's coming back. He underwent surgery March 10th. He could miss the entire offseason. Kyle Shanahan thinks he might be back by camp. Who knows? Is he going to play in the preseason? We don't know. Will he miss regular season games? At this point, we don't know. It's all about 2 weeks from now or so, roughly 2 weeks from now, when he starts to throw and we find out where he is in the development of, rekindling and recapturing his arm strength and everything that goes along with being an NFL quarterback. It's not just, can you throw a football? It's like, can you throw a football a certain way and with accuracy? That's a big question, and we're going to find out here in the coming weeks. Purdy's recovery timeline is going to become clearer when he starts throwing again, and that's going to be still a couple weeks off. But Baldinger went on to say, "So I don't know what this recovery is going to be like, um, but or he says, so I don't know what this recovery is going to be like." When that elbow and that arm are going to get back to that form that he demonstrated a year ago. And when you were in Philadelphia, you knocked him out on the sixth play of the game. It was a great play by Hassan Reddick to get him out of the game and to really turn your fortunes in a good way. But I've got to see if Purdy is in there. I completely believe in this team being a top 5 offense if he's truly healthy. So there you go. You've got a player from the Eagles in Sue who's like, not that impressed. And you have Baldy, who is pretty damn smart and said, man, could not disagree more. Highest rated quarterback in the league. Higher than Mahomes, higher than Tua, higher than Burrow, highest rated quarterback in the league. He said he was more than handing the ball off to McCaffrey and flipping it to Debo in a reverse. This guy was a playmaker. So there you go. I mean, everybody's going to have their opinions. Some people are going to like Darnold. We've talked about it. Some people are going to love the upside of Lance and the potential that he represents. And then other people are going to be big fans of Brock Purdy. And a guy like Baldy, I put his opinion really high up there. Why? Because I don't suspect that he knows what he's talking about. I know that he knows what he's talking about. I don't suspect that he's watching it. I know that he's watching it. I don't suspect that, he's got a good handle on the whole league. I know he's got a good handle on the whole league. I would say Brian Baldinger is right up there with Greg Cosell and about 3 or 4 other guys. The guys who actually watch the all 22 and tell you what they see and tell you what it reveals and point to, they don't just give opinions. This guy sucks. This guy's dink and dunk, and just leave it at that. They actually say, you know what? This guy has requisite arm strength. And here's an example of that. This guy has incredible processing ability. And here's an example of that. This guy carries out play fakes like very few quarterbacks. And here's what I mean. Here's his example. And here's a sample of some other guys doing it the same way. I mean, this guy literally doesn't give an opinion without a full developed bibliography and film references that say, I think that because of this play, let's watch it together. So I hold Brian Baldy in a very high regard, and it was great to hear him push back on Sue. Sue's not throwing any love towards Purdy, but Baldy was. All right. Hope you enjoy the video. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being a proud sponsor of the Krueg Show. And check them out. They're in Corte Madera, open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Open Wednesday through Sunday in Emeryville, inside the Emeryville Public Marketplace. And thanks to all of you for being proud supporters of the Krueg Show on YouTube.